So you want to understand different conceptions of God, huh? And the relationship between science, spirituality, and belief. Well, you've given us quite the stack of material to dive into.
It really
We've
is.
got everything from religious texts to philosophical ponderings
Yeah.
and even some unconventional ideas about frequency and vibration.
It's an intriguing mix. It really is. And it really highlights the huge spectrum of human thought on these matters.
So let's unpack this.
Okay.
We'll be exploring how different cultures and traditions view God, from monotheistic beliefs to Eastern philosophies, and even the idea of time as a divine force. Plus, we'll tackle some big questions like, can science prove or disprove God? How much energy does it take to create a universe? And we'll even delve into a fascinating metaphor comparing math, physics, and chemistry to the Hindu deities Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
It's a journey that takes us to the heart of what it means to be human, to grapple with the mysteries of existence and to seek meaning in a vast and often bewildering universe.
First up, let's explore the different ways people define God. I mean, we're all familiar with the monotheistic view, right? The belief in one all-powerful, all-knowing God. It's a concept found in Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and many other traditions. But things get really interesting when we look beyond this familiar framework.
Yeah, what's fascinating is how Eastern religions and philosophies offer a different perspective.
Hmm.
In Hinduism, for example, the concept of Brahman represents the ultimate reality, the underlying ground of all existence. It's not a personal God in the way we often think of it, but more of a unifying force or principle that permeates everything.
So it's less about a singular being and more about an all-encompassing reality that
Yeah.
seems to open up a whole different way of thinking about the divine.
Exactly. And then you have the various gods and goddesses in Hinduism who represent different aspects of Brahman, different qualities or energies within this ultimate reality.
Like a whole team of divine beings, each with a specific role to play.
Precisely, it's a much more multifaceted view of the divine than the idea of one single god. And then Buddhism adds another layer to this exploration. Some forms of Buddhism don't focus on a personal God at all. Instead, they emphasize the pursuit of enlightenment and understanding the true nature of reality with the goal of transcending suffering and achieving liberation.
So we've gone from one God to many gods to maybe no God as the central focus. And then we have some even more unconventional ideas from our sources, like the concept of God as a frequency or vibration.
Yes, that's a concept often found in New Age spirituality. While not rooted in traditional religions, it offers a different lens for understanding the divine. The idea is that everything in the universe, including us and any potential spiritual beings, vibrates at a certain frequency, and by aligning our own frequency with a higher divine frequency, we can achieve spiritual awakening or a deeper connection with the universe.
Okay, so good vibes, bad vibes, attracting what you put out into the universe,
Right.
those kinds of ideas. I'm curious, where does science fit into all of this? Can science prove or disprove the existence of God, especially given these diverse viewpoints?
That's a question that has intrigued thinkers for centuries. What's important to understand is that science and religion or spirituality operate in different domains. Science excels at explaining the natural world, the mechanisms, the processes, the laws of physics that govern how things work. It relies on observation, experimentation, and evidence.
So science is about the how of the universe.
Exactly. But when it comes to matters of faith of the divine, of ultimate meaning, science can only take us so far. These concepts often lie outside the realm of what we can observe and measure empirically.
So it's almost like science and religion are asking different questions. Science is concerned with the mechanics of the universe, while religion seeks to answer the why behind it all.
Precisely. They offer different lenses for understanding human experience, and those lenses don't always overlap. What do you find most striking about this interplay between science and spirituality?
I think it's easy to get caught up in the idea that science and religion are at odds, but from what we're seeing in these sources, they can coexist, even complement each other. Science helps us understand the incredible complexity of the universe, while spirituality grapples with the deeper questions of meaning and purpose.
I think that's a valuable insight. They each address different facets of our human quest for understanding, and it's in that quest, in the exploration itself, that we often find the most profound insights.
So we've explored this spectrum of conceptions of God, from the singular to the multiple to the non-existent now. For that curveball you mentioned earlier, the idea of time as a divine force.
Ah, yes. This is where things get really intriguing. Time is something we all experience. It shapes our lives, constantly moving forward. An unstoppable force we can't control. And some of the material you provided presents this fascinating idea that time might be the ultimate, the greatest God of all.
Okay, I have to admit that's a new one for me, but you're not talking about literally worshiping clocks or calendars, right?
Yeah. Right. It's not about anthropomorphizing time or turning it into an idol. It's more about recognizing the immense power and influence time exerts over everything. It brings things into being, it shapes their existence, and ultimately, it leads to their end.
I'm starting to see how that could be interpreted as godlike, this force of creation and destruction shaping the very fabric of reality. But isn't there also this whole idea of time being an illusion? How does that fit in?
That's where things get even more interesting. The concept of time as an illusion is deeply rooted in both physics and philosophy from a physics perspective. Einstein's theory of relativity challenged our intuitive understanding of time as absolute and universal. It showed that time is relative, it's flexible, it can be warped by gravity and motion.
So time isn't this rigid, unchanging thing we often perceive it to be.
Exactly, and if we delve into the philosophical side, the idea of time as a human construct comes into play. Maybe the way we experience time as this linear progression of past, present, and future is just a way for our minds to make sense of a reality that might be much more fluid and interconnected.
That's a mind-boggling concept.
Yeah.
Are we saying that time doesn't really exist at all, or just that our perception of it is limited?
It's a question that philosophers and physicists are still grappling with, but for our exploration here, what matters is that this concept challenges us to reconsider the power and the nature of time. It asks us to question our assumptions and to look at reality through a different lens.
That's what I love about these deep dives. They push us to think outside the box, to see the world in new and unexpected ways.
Exactly. And it's in that expansion of perspective, that willingness to question and explore, that we often find the most profound insights.
Okay, so we've covered the spectrum of conceptions of God and tackled this mind-bending idea of time as a divine force. Now let's shift gears and dive into another big question. How much energy does it take to create a universe?
Now, that's a question that takes us to the very edge of our current understanding. Our scientific model for the universe's origin is the Big Bang Theory, which describes the universe expanding from an incredibly hot, dense state, but quantifying the exact energy involved in that initial moment, well, it's still beyond our grasp.
So we have a pretty good understanding of the how of the Big Bang, but the how much remains a mystery.
Precisely. And to make things even more complex, there are speculative ideas like the multiverse theory, which suggests that our universe is just one of many, perhaps an infinite number of universes, if that's true. It raises the question, how much energy does it take to create not just one universe, but a whole multiverse?
Well, that's a whole other level of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But how do we even begin to wrap our heads around these concepts? And where does the concept of God fit into all of this?
It's crucial to remember that the Big Bang and even the multiverse theory are scientific models. They're attempts to describe the universe based on the evidence we have. God, on the other hand, is a concept rooted in faith, in belief.
So we're back to that idea of separate domains. Science explains the mechanics of the universe, while religion grapples with the potential for a divine intention behind it all.
Right, and the Big Bang doesn't prove or disprove the existence of God. It simply describes the processes we can observe and understand through a scientific lens.
Got it. So even with our expanding scientific knowledge, the question of a creator remains open to interpretation, to faith, to personal belief. Which brings us to a fascinating analogy presented in one of our sources, a comparison between the Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and the subjects of math, physics, and chemistry.
Now, that's a metaphor that sparks the imagination. It attempts to connect seemingly disparate realms, science and spirituality, in a way that highlights their interconnectedness.
Okay, so how does this analogy work? I'm intrigued.
Well, the source suggests that math is like Brahma, the creator god in Hinduism. Why? Because math provides the foundation for understanding the universe. It's the language we use to build models to describe relationships, to make sense of the patterns and structures we observe.
So just like Brahma is said to have created the cosmos, math is the language through which we try to understand and create our models of it. It's a pretty cool connection.
Exactly. It highlights the creative power of abstract thought, our ability to use symbols and equations to represent the complexities of the universe. And then we have physics, which is compared to Vishnu, the preserver god. Physics is all about understanding the laws of nature, the fundamental principles that govern how the universe works, how everything interacts and behaves.
Okay, so if math is the blueprint, physics makes sure everything runs according to plan. It's about maintaining order and balance, just like Vishnu's role in Hindu mythology.
I like how you're putting it. And finally, we have chemistry, which is linked to Shiva, the destroyer, and transformer chemistry, deals with the transformation of matter, the breaking down and rebuilding of substances. It's dynamic, it involves change, and sometimes that change can be destructive, but it's also essential for creation and renewal.
That's a deep connection when you think about it. Destruction and creation, two sides of the same coin.
Exactly, and Shiva embodies that duality in Hindu mythology. So this analogy, while metaphorical, encourages us to see these different disciplines, math, physics, chemistry, not as separate fields, but as interconnected aspects of our quest to understand the universe.
Like they're all part of the same grand cosmic dance, each playing a crucial role in the symphony of existence.
Beautifully put, and I think that's a good place to pause for now we've covered a lot of ground from the diverse conceptions of God to the mind-bending ideas of time as a divine force and the energy of creation, and we've even explored this fascinating connection between science and spirituality through the lens of Hindu mythology.
It's been a wild ride so far, and I have a feeling there's much more to explore as we continue this deep dive.
Indeed, we've only just scratched the surface of these profound questions and ideas, and in part two, we'll delve even deeper into the mysteries of the universe and our place within it.
That analogy with the Hindu Trinity really got me thinking about the interconnectedness of everything. How science, spirituality, and even mythology can offer different perspectives on the same fundamental questions.
Yeah, it is a beautiful illustration of how human beings across cultures and throughout history have sought to understand the universe and our place in it. And it reminds us that these different ways of knowing aren't necessarily in conflict. They can enrich and inform each other.
You mentioned earlier the concept of time as an illusion. It's fascinating, but also a little mind-bending. How can time be an illusion if we experience it so concretely? We feel time passing, we see things change, we age.
Well, it's a concept that challenges our intuitive understanding of reality, what we perceive as time. This linear progression from past to present to future might just be a construct of our minds, a way for us to organize and make sense of a universe that operates on very different principles.
So you're saying our brains create the illusion of time to make sense of a reality that might be much more complex and fluid.
Exactly. Think about Einstein's theory of relativity. It demonstrated that time isn't absolute as we once thought. It's relative to the observer's frame of reference, and it can be warped by gravity, and motion time can speed up or slow down depending on your velocity and the gravitational field you're in.
So time isn't this fixed, unchanging backdrop to our lives.
Not according to Einstein, and some physicists believe that at the most fundamental level, the level of quantum mechanics, time might not even exist in the way we commonly understand it.
Okay, now my brain is really starting to hurt.
Mhm.
But if we entertain this idea of time as an illusion, what does that mean for our understanding of God?
Well, it raises some fascinating questions. For example, many religions conceive of God as existing outside of time, seeing the past, present, and future all at once. But if time as we experience it is an illusion, what does it even mean to exist outside of time?
It challenges those traditional notions, doesn't it? It's almost like saying God isn't bound by the limitations of our human perception of time.
Exactly, and it makes those theological concepts even more mysterious and awe-inspiring. Perhaps God isn't outside of time, but rather intertwined with it in ways we can't even begin to comprehend.
Or as some of the sources suggest, maybe time itself is the ultimate creative force, the ultimate God shaping and driving everything that happens.
It's a provocative thought, and it highlights the limitations of human language and concepts when trying to grapple with these ultimate mysteries.
It seems like the more we try to define these huge concepts, God, time, the universe, the more elusive they become.
That's the nature of profound mysteries. They resist easy definitions and neat categories, and that's where faith comes in. That willingness to embrace the unknown, to trust in something beyond what we can fully grasp with our rational minds.
Speaking of the unknown, there's another mind-boggling concept from our sources that I want to explore, the idea of multiple universes, the multiverse.
Ah, yes, the multiverse, a concept that has captured the imagination of both scientists and science fiction writers, as we mentioned earlier. It suggests that our universe, vast as it is, might be just one of many, perhaps an infinite number of universes coexisting.
It's a difficult concept to wrap our heads around. So what kind of evidence is there for the multiverse, or is it purely theoretical at this point?
It's primarily theoretical, but there are a few lines of reasoning and observation that suggest it might be more than just a wild idea. For example, some physicists argue that the values of certain fundamental constants in our universe, the strength of gravity, the speed of light, the mass of an electron, seem fine-tuned for life as we know it. If these values were even slightly different, stars and galaxies might not form, and life as we understand it wouldn't be possible.
So our universe seems incredibly lucky, almost as if it were designed that way. But the multiverse theory offers an alternative explanation.
Exactly. If there are countless universes, each with its own set of physical laws and constants, then it's statistically likely that at least some of those universes would have the right conditions for life to emerge. We just happen to live in one of those lucky universes.
It's like winning the cosmic lottery.
A good analogy, and there's another line of evidence that comes from cosmology. Observations of the cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, have revealed some anomalies, some unexpected patterns that some physicists believe could be hints of interactions with other universes.
So it's like seeing ripples in the fabric of our universe, suggesting something beyond our own space-time is affecting us.
Precisely. But it's important to emphasize that the multiverse theory is still highly speculative. It's a fascinating area of research, but there's no definitive proof yet. However, it's a powerful concept that challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos.
How so?
Well, if the multiverse is real, it throws a wrench into some traditional theological ideas. If there are countless universes, does that mean there are countless gods or no God at all?
Right, if our universe is just one of many, perhaps arising randomly, then the idea of a creator God who specifically designed our universe for a specific purpose becomes more difficult to reconcile.
Exactly. The multiverse raises profound questions about the nature of creation, the role of God, and the uniqueness of our own existence.
It seems like the more we discover about the universe, the more mysterious it becomes.
That's the beauty of scientific inquiry. It expands our knowledge while simultaneously revealing the vastness of what we still don't know, and it underscores the importance of humility and intellectual curiosity in our pursuit of understanding.
It's like we're constantly peeling back layers of an onion, only to find more layers underneath.
A perfect analogy, and that sense of wonder and exploration, that willingness to question and to embrace the unknown, is at the heart of both science and spirituality.
It's about recognizing that we're part of something much greater than ourselves, something we may never fully comprehend, but can still marvel at and try to understand.
Exactly, and in that process of exploration, we discover not only the wonders of the universe, but also the depths of our own minds and spirits.
The journey of both outward and inward discovery.
Precisely. And as we continue this deep dive, we'll explore further the implications of these mind-blowing concepts for our understanding of God, the universe, and ourselves.
Wow, we've journeyed through a vast landscape of ideas in this deep dive, from the many faces of God to the mind-bending realms of quantum physics and the multiverse.
It really has been a whirlwind exploration, hasn't it?
It has of some of the most profound questions humanity has ever grappled with.
Absolutely.
My head is still spinning from all these huge ideas, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It's like our understanding of the universe has expanded exponentially.
That's the power of intellectual curiosity, right? Allowing ourselves to be challenged by new concepts and perspectives.
We started by exploring different conceptions of God, from traditional monotheism to the more abstract ideas found in Eastern philosophies.
Yeah, and we saw how these different approaches reflect the diversity of human experience and the many ways people have sought to connect with something larger than themselves.
And we delved into the mind-boggling concept of time as an illusion, questioning our intuitive understanding of this fundamental aspect of reality.
Einstein's theory of relativity showed us that time isn't absolute, but relative to the observer's frame of reference. And some physicists believe that at the quantum level, time might behave in ways that defy our everyday experience.
It's a challenging concept, but it opens up fascinating possibilities for understanding the nature of reality and the potential role of consciousness in shaping our experience.
Exactly, and it raises profound questions about the nature of God and the relationship between the divine and the human.
If time is an illusion, what does it mean for a God who is said to exist outside of time? Does it suggest a deeper interconnectedness between the creator and creation?
These are questions that theologians and philosophers have been wrestling with for centuries, and the insights from modern physics add another layer of complexity.
And then we ventured into the realm of the multiverse, the idea that our universe might be just one of countless universes coexisting.
A concept that's still highly speculative, but there are tantalizing hints from cosmology and theoretical physics that suggest it might be more than just science fiction.
The implications of the multiverse for our understanding of God are profound if our universe is just one of many, perhaps randomly generated. It challenges the idea of a creator God who specifically designed our universe for a specific purpose.
It raises the question of whether there's a hierarchy of universes or perhaps a multiverse-level God who oversees the entire ensemble.
Or maybe, as some physicists propose, the laws of physics themselves act as the creator, giving rise to an infinite variety of universes with no need for a divine hand.
It's a vast and awe-inspiring landscape of possibilities, and our scientific understanding is still in its infancy.
But even without definitive answers, the process of exploring these ideas, of expanding our understanding of the universe and our place in it, is incredibly rewarding.
It fosters a sense of humility, recognizing the limitations of our current knowledge and the vastness of what we still don't know.
And it ignites our curiosity, driving us to keep asking questions, to keep seeking deeper meaning and connection.
That's the essence of both scientific inquiry and spiritual seeking, a willingness to embrace the mystery and to find joy in the ongoing exploration.
Throughout this deep dive, we've encountered numerous metaphors and analogies that attempt to bridge the gap between science and spirituality.
Right from the comparison of math, physics, and chemistry to the Hindu trinity, to the concept of the universe as a vast interconnected tapestry.
These metaphors highlight the limitations of language when trying to describe concepts that lie beyond our everyday experience.
They offer glimpses into the interconnectedness of everything, the intricate dance between the physical and the metaphysical, the seen and the unseen.
And they remind us that while science and spirituality may approach the huge questions from different angles, they're ultimately complementary, both seeking to illuminate the nature of reality.
Yeah, science explores the mechanics of the universe, while spirituality grapples with the meaning and purpose behind it all.
And perhaps as we delve deeper into both realms, we'll discover that they're not as separate as we once thought.
Maybe the ultimate mystery is how these seemingly disparate domains, the material and the spiritual, the scientific and the mystical, are woven together into the fabric of existence.
And perhaps our human consciousness, with its capacity for both rational thought and intuitive insight, is the key to unlocking these secrets.
It's possible.
After all, we're not just observers of the universe, we're participants. Our thoughts and actions influencing the unfolding of reality.
That's right.
It's a profound and empowering thought that we have a role to play in the grand cosmic drama.
And it highlights the importance of living consciously, of aligning our intentions and actions with the greater good.
Because if our thoughts and intentions can influence reality, even in subtle ways, then we have a responsibility to use that power wisely.
Exactly. Our choices matter, not just for ourselves, but for the evolution of consciousness itself.
It's a humbling yet inspiring realization that we're each contributing to the ongoing creation of the universe.
Yeah, and that brings us to the heart of this deep dive, the invitation to see ourselves not as separate from the cosmos, but as integral threads in the grand tapestry of existence.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the many facets of God, the mind-bending mysteries of time and the multiverse, and the profound interconnectedness of it all.
It really has.
I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, expanded your perspective, and left you with more questions than answers.
I hope so too.
Because the search for understanding, the quest for meaning, is a lifelong journey.
Absolutely.
And it's in the seeking and the questioning and the open-minded exploration that we discover the true depth and richness of our human experience. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the tapestry of human existence. Until next time, keep seeking, keep wondering, and keep diving deep.